Hello, perceptive readers. This is James Lynch, and yes, I am an author. Today is August 26th, and it's a Tuesday, and I would like to share these few thoughts with you today. You know, uh, it's one thing that when you're growing up, there's a lot of learning that we all went through. And once we actually had different people, even outside the classroom, teach us about life and other skills. We may have moved from novice level, journeyman level, all the way to experts, craftsmen levels. And I'm not just speaking for those occupations, I'm actually describing education as well. Not something that may have given you a diploma, but it has given you wisdom in life. And that wisdom that you gained, uh, you learned it from other persons, and it worked for them. And guess what? It worked for you as well. Any wisdom that is actually exercised, which again, it would be a contradiction to think of it in any other way. So, any wisdom that is exercised in goodness and proactiveness, you see what I'm saying? Proactiveness, goodness, then you can pursue that all you want. And when you're able to pursue it for yourself and for maybe your immediate circle or family, okay, then it works. And you can speak with that with confidence. With confidence. The problem with the world, with many people today, and I still see it, is this knowledge, once you've used it and learned it and it becomes a part of you and you speak with it in confidence, then they may at times try to make something seem more complicated than what it really is. And it can actually be because they never learned it. And it can actually be because of maybe their own pride. It can also be because of the association that they are around, the persons who are in their circle that don't build them up, but still want them in their circle. There's actually a speech that I shared recently on a website, and I shared it last year as well. So it seems like I share at least once a year. And it's a decades old speech, seminar, if you will, that even Les Brown had put on. And he talked about the circles of people. You know, he used other language, he used other anecdotal. But the point that he still was bringing out, and I've heard him say this in several different ways, and listening to his motivational speeches, self-help speeches, or what have you, over the years, is that he just straight up say that, you know, he spoke one time even to a husband and wife team. Okay, a husband and wife team. And I'm telling you this for a reason. And he was trying to encourage the wife to be able to go out there and, with the talents that she already had, be a motivational speaker or what have you. And she just, when you listen to the way that he tells the story, you can tell she had the desire, but she just didn't feel she could ever do it. And one of the reasons why he was able to, look at the situation, because, he respected them and loved them both, was he looked at his own friend, the husband, and the way that he actually didn't give her any encouragement. In fact, if you take some of the quotes of the way that even her own husband was speaking towards her aspirations or dreams to make a living in this way, it was downright negative. Now, some people may listen to that account or what have you, that story, and make it seem like, oh no, that didn't happen or what have you. See, I'm just saying this because I know it happened. Why do I know it happened? Because I've seen it many times in my life. And that's a fact. And this is not to jump on men. It's not to jump on women either. Because, see, I've seen it both ways. I've seen it both ways. Human beings, many either were not taught or the importance that was not stressed upon what love is, and they brought that same mess into the BS of the workplace and even into the family arrangement. You know, I hear people always talking about narcissism in this way or that way, and this is what I'm going to tell you again about the disrespect of people today. Because I know, let me tell you, I know over the past a decade or so, I might have been called a narcissist. But what is so funny to me, and it's not funny, I'm really speaking tongue in cheek, is this. Even if some person like myself was a narcissist, but I'm still up there telling this nosy person, why are you all up in my business? Why are you all up in my Kool-Aid? Why are you breaking laws, surveillance-wise, PIs, and all this other stuff? Because, and then at the same time, speaking like, oh, you want people all up in your Kool-Aid? You want people all up in your backside and all that other stuff? That's an expression. Some cases may be literal. But all the same, who is really the narcissist? See, the point is, people are lacking so much in receiving the attention, what they're really needing in this day and age sometimes, that they're willing about to do anything and give up anything just to get a little bit of crumbs of attention. And it's actually conditioning and teaching and structure of different people's minds now in this day, where they will literally act like you're wrong because you like your privacy, you like your boundaries, and you're still a giving person. And that's a fact. You are still a knowledgeable person in a variety of different things. And it can even be in the ways that truly will make the world a better place. That's a fact. Truly will make the world a better place. And something that I told you I really don't concentrate too much on is, you know, when you get picked for an assignment in this way or that way, a job or what have you, you know, I don't really get into trying to tear down the person in that job in this way or that way. You know, it's really a shame when a person does get a position of authority or what have you, and there's something that still triggers their own maybe history, maybe something in their life that they experience that they just don't like, something about your personality, and you haven't even had to say a word about it. And then they actually use their own authority in that way to make life difficult for you just because they really don't like you, and they can make all the excuses, all the propaganda, all they want. But it still really just boils down to a personality conflict. And so when you got that much negative energy excluding or exuding out of the person, spiritually speaking, because it does happen. That's another thing. You don't believe it, then you don't believe it. But it's true. And I'm emphasizing this because I'm telling you today, when I say again, when somebody doesn't listen to you, even if you got some type of position sometimes, oh, it ain't pride. It isn't pride at all for some of these individuals, especially when they have already shown that they believe in you. They believe in the mission. They love you, but through your own philosophical differences that maybe people don't know about, through this person's own desires, wants, and everything else, that it's a battle. Like even Paul talked about, he battled with certain things and he had to pummel himself or his body to make sure he still would do the right thing. And boy, you can tell he really did. And you can tell he strived hard to do that. Well, human beings have that same challenge today, even more so, especially when you may have only a very little bit of spiritual knowledge about really God's personality, which he is love, the aspects of love. And the aspects of love is not always just looking to condemn and judgment. It's actually still looking to help in the best way possible. Love shows humility, even though it doesn't even have to in different positions of responsibilities at times. It will lower itself at times to help lift somebody up. And it certainly wouldn't allow groupthink to sit up there and watch different people die for this reason or that reason, all because they've been labeled in this way or that way. And that's a fact. That's the difference of the way that the churches even function today. And what I want to mention about, even the motivational tapes and speeches and things of that nature, that remember, Les Brown is the one who always was talking about there's greatness in you, because there is. And there's this ability and opportunity to always pick yourself up finally and really get yourself going, even with the challenges. The way that the world and the spirit of the world is, because remember, everybody, when Jesus said, come to me, all who are loaded and toiling down, and I will refresh you. Jesus is calling persons in all sorts of circumstances and backgrounds to finally get the help that they need spiritually. Sometimes there are consequences to maybe certain crimes in this way or that way, depending on what it is. But that's not what Jesus was concentrating on the earth. And that's what many churches don't concentrate on as far as the day, depending on whatever the crime may be in some other area of life that actually, should give some form of restitution or what have you. But that is a formal type of deal as well. It's not done behind the person's back. It's not done without their knowledge. It's not something that they can even make an appeal for formally. That's the way it's done, even though you have other persons now that I told you, if they look at you in a certain view of like Amharets, they make it seem like you don't have any rights that you can call upon. And so since they're still trying to make it seem like they have some semblance or respect for the law, what they do is try to make it seem or put you in a box, as people use sometimes, so that people can't talk to you clearly or directly in the first place, only in some type of indirect way. And that is not a good way to do it. not all the time. Once again, if you're going to, as Paul would say, speak as men or what have you, then you know what? You're going to just do it the right way, in the correct way. And it's a shame when different contracts have come up at times where people really literally, in a smiling way, without all the rituals and stuff like that that was done of old, literally sell their soul, but still don't fully comprehend what they were doing. But they were selling their soul physically and spiritually. So you get persons like that over you who's not working towards the love of God and the love of the Christ. And that type of person may ask and tell you to do things at times, and it's all in their energy as well, where you're going to end up saying no. And it's not because you're prideful, it's because their energy is coming out spiritually in a valid way, even if they're saying it with a smoothness of their tongue. The other thing that I'm going to mention about still self-help and motivational speeches, you see, those persons have helped many. And I'm never going to look down on those wonderful speeches that people gave in different variety of ways that helped persons on that level to think more highly of themselves, like that woman who would receive encouragement in this way or that way. And we may all have listened to them in this in this way or that way or what have you. What I'm saying is, a lot of persons read the Bible for encouragement, and at the same time, in this world today, where you don't always have connections with people, and I'm going to tell you right now. See, after a while, whether persons like it or not, but I'm going to say it, if you're a friend to me, and even persons who haven't been a friend to me or what have you, back in the day, you could always get, a dime or a nickel here. Literal money. Just anybody says, hey, you got a dime, you got a nickel, whatever. No, not the way today. See, people are being conditioned more and more to be just as stingy as I don't know what, especially if you don't belong to any type of group that they are in. If you don't go along according to some type of ideology or philosophy, it's like a slow trying to starve you spiritually and financially to death, all because you stand on your conscience. And that's not right. So when you find these different other encouraging speeches and motivational tapes, and somebody saying you are worth something, then you know what? They're still speaking the truth. And hopefully you can take that information, build yourself up, and even pay it forward to help somebody else feel like they're worth something as well in a world that disrespects occupations, disrespects what you are probably capable of doing and what you are doing. Make it seem like whatever you're able to do is literally impossible when it's not impossible. And if they viewed it in the correct way, you see some of these persons who look down on this, they'll see that you're not thinking more of yourself, and you're not being prideful in this way or that. It's just that, again, they need to look at them in the mirror and see their own self. I know some persons down to this day who were literally great at just doing what they were told. But in between everybody trying to tell this person or that person what to do all the time, and the person was fulfilling it, Sometimes they were caught in the crossfire. Why? Because it was more of they were put in the middle to be like a puppet on the string. And so you can't really please everybody. You can't really always, fulfill every type of task for everybody, especially if they don't give you the information that you need from themselves. So it's going to be some disagreements. So I say, as always, shame on the people who screw with people's minds in that way. Shame on the people who actually teaching persons how to raise their children in a bad way. See, that's how child abuse continues as well. It's manipulation, it's control, it's teaching to accept abuse that you shouldn't be accepting, all so that you can say you're obedient or what have you. That's not obedience. I say again, persons who teach you in that way, who condition you in that way, they are disobedient to the love of the Christ. So listen to what you need to listen to. Listen to the spirit of what is being said, and then become proactive in goodness and paying it forward. And don't let anybody with strain. If you say, look, I want to buy this person a cup of coffee, and somebody else tell you that, no, don't you, then who is really the one in sin here? Well, you got the stingy person, most likely, who is in sin, who is sinning in God's eyes. But then, because you went against your own conscience that maybe was moving you to buy that person's a cup of coffee or what have you, then you may be dealing with a situation of not only cowardice, but also sinning as well, because you're still going against your conscience of goodness. That isn't directed at anybody. I'm just telling you, these are situations. Take care.